Hello, I'm Leslie Shaw from Emory University and an associate editor on the new JACC Imaging Journal. I'm here today with Dr. Pam Douglas, professor of medicine at Duke University, to talk about the ACC's Duke think tank on imaging quality. Dr. Douglas, can you tell us a little bit about why you decided to embark on this huge venture of imaging quality?
Well, as you know, imaging has been in the crosshairs for many reasons in the last few years. We've had tremendous growth in imaging technologies, both existing technologies and new technologies, and growth in utilization that is outstripping the growth in other aspects of medical care. And there's a lot of debate on the part of people footing the bill, payers, about that increase in volume. And I wanted to shift the debate from volume to value, to talk about what imaging was adding to patient care and not just how much the bottom line was in terms of cost.
Amazing. It's an amazing venture, one that is, I think, desperately needed. Last year was the first year you held the think tank, and what was the take-home messages from your think tank, and how did you achieve things over the ensuing year?
Well, it's a lot all at once. First let me tell you who comes to the think tank, and we've now had two. The first one was in February of 2006, and we invited about 70 stakeholders in imaging, from physicians who are imagers to physicians, cardiologists who are consumers of imaging, professional societies, imaging companies, pharmaceutical companies, regulators like CMS and FDA, NIH, payers, insurance companies, to try to get everybody to sit in the same room and come to some sort of consensus about what quality in imaging was. Really, up to that point, it was a pretty picture and it was in the eye of the beholder. We thought we could be much more specific about it and also much more actionable. And the outcome of that think tank was a uniform consensus across all these stakeholders, including the radiology community, that imaging quality consisted of a set series of domains, starting with selecting the right test for the right patient, acquiring images, interpreting those images, reporting out the results of that, and then taking those results and applying them into patient care. And within each one of those domains, there are ways of improving, as you now look at it, a systems approach, improving the test selection for the patient. And you think of appropriateness criteria, that's one thing that helps us select the right test for the right patient. In image acquisition, we want to make sure that the imaging protocol is complete. We're also worried about safety issues like radiation dose, for example, in new modality like CT angiography has had a lot of press. Imaging interpretation, we want to make sure our physicians are well trained, they're competent, that the results are reproducible across interpreters. Results communication needs to be timely, and it needs to be concise, and it needs to be understandable. You can't just say, I'm not sure what the ejection fraction was, or 2 weeks later the report comes out, and then of course implementing it into care. So over the ensuing year and a half between the first think tank and the second one we just had this October, we implemented a number of those parameters in a number of those domains of quality. I'm sure you're familiar with appropriateness criteria. We've published in the methods paper for that, which is a novel methods that the ACC produced, SPECT MPI, nuclear studies, CT, MR, transthoracic echo, and stress echo cardiography will be coming out this winter. We're currently working on revascularization, and then we're going to tackle the thorny issue of multimodality imaging and how can we really compare one study to another for a particular patient scenario.
A daunting task, but one I think that you're well capable of handling as a past president of the American College of Cardiology. But as somebody who's gone out to the community, the private practice physicians, I don't know if when I go out, I don't know if they really understand what's going on. If you give one little take-home message of 30 seconds, what you see in the future that would really impact on the clinical cardiovascular medicine, what would it be from imaging quality?
Well, I think that the biggest impact is that we have successfully shifted that debate from volume to value, that we're now perceived by our regulatory community, not just amongst ourselves where we think we practice good medicine, but our regulatory community sees the field of cardiology as leaders in taking a good look at what we do and ensuring that we have quality practices. So I've testified in the last year on the Hill and with MedPAC about how we should be reimbursing for imaging. And there's tremendous interest in the idea of getting value for money, improving the worth of imaging, and of preserving access and reimbursement for imaging because it does add value to patient care. And that is just such a powerful weapon for us to have in our arsenal as we advocate for better cardiovascular care.
Excellent. Thank you, Dr. Douglas.